What's up, gamers? It's your boy, JKon. Welcome to another episode of Spike Defused, the show where I break down the VCT games that happened in the day and diffuse the knowledge to the masses. Playoffs finally kicked off in 3 of the regions today, while Pacific has already been balls deep into their tournament, already determining their 3 Master Shanghai participants. As for the other 3 regions, they had their round 1 knockouts that happened today, and in this video I'll be covering a few of the matches that happened. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Playoffs is underway. That means more content from me, so hopefully I'm going to be more and more consistent about this. Please let me know down below in the comments what you think about Spike Diffuse and a little bit more of this format. Have them a little bit shorter than my previous episodes so far. So let me know what you think about the video and kind of the breakdown. I would love your feedback as it's very much appreciated. Anyways, without further delay, let's get into it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so today I'm going to primarily focus on the Americas games, which I just finished co-streaming over on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/JKonTV. Anyways, the round 1 matchups today, we had Cloud9 taking on G2 Esports and 100 Thieves taking on Loud. In the first matchup, Cloud9 versus G2, I actually was very confident in Cloud9 coming into this matchup, and boy oh boy was my confidence absolutely shattered immediately. So Cloud9 would open up Lotus with a 4-round start, looking really clean, especially on their bonus round, and honestly it was a really good look from them. Unfortunately for them, G2 found their footing immediately after and absolutely dominated across the rest of the map. Round 5 was very pivotal for them as Icy really came alive and got a 3k and clutched out a 1v2 situation in order to get his team on the board, and G2 would end up stringing 6 rounds in a row off that before finally dropping 1 to Cloud9 and closing out the half 7-5. Taking 7 rounds in the first half while losing the pistol round is actually very impressive, so shout out to G2. I really enjoyed their calling on the attack side as Valyn just called really well and just kind of called circles around Vanity. The fact that G2 was able to stand outside of the outreaches of sights and just freeze and just hold and wait for C9 to either push for contact or re-engage. C9 rotated a lot and moved a lot around the map and didn't really stick to one place, and G2 capitalized very heavily by just staying in one area and controlling that. So really big hats off to Valyn. Super big shout out to him. One of the things of note for Cloud9 that I was kind of banking on, I was like, oh, Oxy is going to be the X factor here, because if Oxy pops off and has like an absolute dominant performance, they can win this matchup. However, even though Oxy was able to get 15 frags in the first half, he was absolutely shut out in the second half, only getting 1 on their attack side, which was absolutely tough. Anyways, for G2, they closed out the map 13-6, only losing 1 round on the second half. And it was just an absolute dominant defense from them. They were able to retake consistently. They were always seemed to be a man up above them. And honestly, when they went aggro on their pushes, they were rewarded because C9 were just there to meet them. Near the end of the map, there was a great round where Valyn was playing tree and they used Trent's fade ult to cut across rubble, and they opened the door and fought, and it was just a really aggressive play that kind of shook up the defensive pace a little bit. And that's one of the things that I wanted to point out that G2 did very well. They swapped between being very hard anchors on one side and fighting for it versus fighting for a lot of map control and just absorbing the map that C9 was giving up. And honestly, it was a very good balance between the two of them. So again, shout out to G2 on that first map. It was very dominant from them. Heading over to the second map though, Ascent, it was a lot closer as it would end up in double overtime. However, it did go G2's way in the end. Cloud9 would bring out a new comp. Not really a new comp, I guess it's an old comp from back in the day, but they were running Viper Sky as well with the normal standard Jet, Omen, and Killjoy. And to be honest, I didn't really mind the Sky Viper. It does have a few weaknesses, especially on their mid hold, and you can kind of see that early on as G2's attack were able to take advantage of gaps there, because having the Viper be more of like a sentinel to cover and not having as much info as having double initiator, especially with the Sky being so limited with her kits, they basically stuck Oxy in the back of spawn to jump peek over and control middle like that, and that's just like a very poor waste of him in my opinion early on. But anyways, G2 would start out the map very strong, going up 6-1. Trent and Icy were going absolutely crazy for them. And I really want to shout out Trent, man, because this guy was just frying with everything. He had an Odin at one point, got a multi-kill. He got a 3K on pistol round to open up. I believe he also got another 3K on like the second round. This guy was absolutely frying. He used his ult on round 3 and then got his ult again in round 6 to use. Like the fact that he got it within 3 rounds and used it again is absolutely insane, especially on a Sova. But we know that we've seen Sovas dominate on Ascent. Anyways, Cloud9 were able to get some very consistent retakes off in the latter half of the first half. And they had really good reads just holding and kind of meeting where G2 were going to go and just kind of stalling and holding out time. I think one of the strengths that you can say that C9's defense really had was just their ability to make G2 burn time off the clock. And I think that was really advantageous, especially as it led them to a 7-5 half. Point of note in the first half is that G2 really planned well around avoiding Oxy, and they especially did this on Lotus incredibly well, even though Oxy still fried in the first half of that map. They just were not allowing Oxy to get contact, to get into the game, and to really build momentum. And even though Oxy was absolutely shut down in the first half, he ended the first half 5-12. In the second half, he would go 13-13, at least on the attack side. So he was much better on the attack half, and he would really led the way for them to bring this map back. And they were able to tie up the game at 8-8 and take a lead up to 10-8, but eventually it was tied at 10-10. And you can really just shout out Icy, for example. They had an incredible thrifty that kept G2 in the game to bring it back after C9 were building momentum. And Icy he had a 3K with his hero Vandal, and it was just really big. Overall, though, I think just this matchup between the two teams was a really good showing of calling from Valyn. And I also want to just shout out Icy. He's been looking really good. He's been leveling up. He's been looking better and better as each series goes on. And I've been impressed with a lot with his performance. I think he was struggling a little bit early on, and you kind of assume that everybody entering into tier 1 would struggle a little bit, but he has become a lot more comfortable with his role, and he's not afraid to really take over. And one of the things I really want to shout out praise to him especially is how disciplined he plays. And that also goes to G2 in general, that there are situations where he is absolutely frying with that thrifty round, right, with his 3K Vandal, and he would not go for the last kill in fear of giving up more weapons because it was beneficial for his team to have that eco advantage. So I think him just being very patient and understanding that he's the win condition, or rifles are the win condition, and not over peaking and overheating, that's a lot to ask for from a young player. So I just want to shout him out for that. But yeah, overall, really great showing from G2. C9 definitely did not look as good as they were before, and I just think a large part of it has to go to G2's calling and how they played, especially on avoiding Oxy. So credit to G2 there. Anyways, moving on to the next matchup of the day, we had 100 Thieves take on Loud, and oh boy, I was not expecting this. To be fair, it could have been expected, but I did not expect 100 Thieves to absolutely dominate Loud. And props to Boostio again for once again outcalling Sadak. He did it last year at Champs, and I believe they also played at Tokyo as well, where he beat him. So maybe that was on me for doubting that Boostio might be Sadak's Kryptonite over here. But huge hats off to 100 Thieves. But I think the really big standout has to go to Cryo. Cryo's evolution as a player throughout the season and throughout this entire year, honestly, has been incredible. After kickoff, I said I really want to see how Cryo continues to build up on this controller role, and he has looked immaculate on it. The Brimstone on Bind, he was just absolutely flawless on the defensive half. I believe he put up 23, 5-2 with 459 ACS on the defensive half. And he just had so many multi-kills. On Bind, he had 4 triple kills, 1 4K, and 1 double kill. Like, he was absolutely frying Loud completely. Loud were able to take the first 3 rounds of the map, and I was like, oh, Loud are looking pretty good. But after Loud were able to win their bonus, I had a bit of a reflection. I was like, you know, actually, these rounds were very close, as most of the members of Loud were either very low or low number of members that survived. And then in round 4, you have an incredible thrifty round as Asuna with the Sheriff hits 2 headshots. Bang, bang. And he forces Loud to pivot through the teleporter. And as they jump out, Bang is waiting for them over on the B side. Bang, bang. Double kill. And that Thrifty just absolutely set off 100 Thieves momentum and their economy, and they were able to string together 8 rounds in a row before Loud were finally able to stop the bleeding and get one before half. Loud were able to take double pistol, but that was the end of their rounds pretty much, as once again 100 Thieves, once they got their guns, it was over. It was absolutely over. So this was a masterclass from Cryo on the defensive half. And what's so funny is that on the offensive half, when they swapped, Cryo put up 2, 3, and 2. My man didn't really do much at all. Asuna and Bang went crazy on the attack half. And speaking of Asuna, he has been absolutely incredible. He's been back in top form. Valyn really showcased his abilities. He was able to win a showstopper duel against QCK. He had this complete BS spray kill through a Viper pit, and then he jumped through the pit and headshot less midair with his gun.
Coach, a perfect pit. Whoa! Possibly.
Dude, how?
Aggressive pit still in play.
How?
No, it falls. Tons of different looks. Now they're playing in the actual site.
Oh, come on, man. He's jumping, bro.
That's not Valorant.
Oh my god. So, you know, Asuna, anything that Asuna wanted, he got. Asuna would get a pick in like short. He would flip back to look at showers, get another kill before he fell. Like, Asuna could do no wrong this game, and he was absolutely pivotal for them to win this map, and he was going crazy. In my pick'ems, I said whoever won this matchup between Loud and 100 Thieves would go to Shanghai, and I am so excited to see 100 Thieves play next. I know they play Lev tomorrow, so I guess we'll see if they will qualify or not. But anyways, this is just an absolutely insane game from 100 Thieves on this map. It was really impressive. You lose double pistols, so that's 4 rounds basically over for free, especially in this meta. So you gave up 2 rounds that were non-pistol rounds, and I think that is insane. Heading over to Icebox though, what's even more insane is that they dominated them even freaking harder. 100 Thieves would open up the map with a 6-0 streak, and in round 3 Cryo would whip out the op, and once he had that gun in his hands, he absolutely dominated and took over. Cryo would end the map 22-7-1 with 6 first kills and 2 first deaths. 13 of his 22 kills were with opt, and he was just not missing. I really truly believe that whatever Zix and Boostio have brought him in, they have allowed Cryo to become the new Demon 1, because this kid is absolutely flourishing in the system. He's allowed to play however aggressive he wants, knowing that he has 2 initiators to back him up. He's the NA something. Honestly, there was an absolutely insane play where Cryo would get a 3K with his op, just hitting insane shots. There was another one where he gets a kill, drops down from Nest. Sadok pushes him through the Viper smoke. He quick scopes Sadok, throws down a smoke, whips out a shorty, and then one pumps Kawanzine.
He's been so valuable for this squad, and he continues to.
There's no way!
As he gets a second.
Dude! And just looks like something out there. And something like you, something like Cryo, bro, because he definitely has really upped his game, and he is looking so crispy. There's not as much you can really say about this matchup between them. It's just that Cryo just went huge and could not be stopped. Loud really did not have an answer for them. Les was not hitting at all, and he was 0-7 at one point, and it was really tough for him. And yeah, honestly, there's really not much else that you can really say. Bang was hitting incredible shots as well on this map. There was a 2K where he was stuck between the 2 areas. He's looking up at Nest. He gets a kill on Nest where it drops the spike. Another one peeks him. He drops that one, and then he finally gets peeked from behind, and he just absolutely anchored that site, and he just looked so good. The fact that Bang and Cryo are just like back in top tier form, as well as Asuna, is just so impressive, and 100 Thieves are looking really good. So if you're a 100 Thieves fan, stonks are rising through the freaking moon. All right, quickly, let's just talk about China, because I thought they had a couple of pretty fun games in my opinion. The first matchup we had was Trace Esports taking on All Gamers, and to be honest, this was a pretty relatively easy 2-0 for Trace. They did throw a few rounds here and there, and they were kind of trolling a little bit, But if you want to talk about a flex jet player that's also playing incredibly well, we have to talk about Trace Esports Kai. Kai went absolutely absurd in this series, ending up 47, 26, and 7 with 285 ACS. And he could just do no wrong. Also, this wasn't just on Jet. He was doing this on Cypher on Sunset. So on Sunset, he went 25, 14, and 4. And on the Jet, he went 22, 12, and 3. And his counterpart, Feng Feng, who is Raze and other counter Cypher, also put up incredible numbers. So Trace looking a little bit better now. They were struggling a little bit near the end of the year, not looking as clean as they did. They still have, you know, those tendencies to over peak and be a little bit cocky and not playing like their best, but they're still a pretty fun team in my opinion. Although the next matchup, I am not super confident in them being able to take it. However, Trace are still a fun team and I like them. In my pick'ems, I said Trace would beat DRG in the lowers, and talking about DRG here, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think that's going to happen because I don't think Vukashu is going to let that happen. Vukashu versus Swirl. This was a really fun matchup between the two teams, but generally we all knew that DRG was going to outclass Nova, as I think they're just a much stronger team, and Vukashu was not letting them lose. Vukashu would end the series putting up 52, 28, and 8 with 351 ACS, and he is just magnifique on Bind, which had some absolutely fun shenanigans, especially this one round, which I'll talk about in a bit. But Vukashu ended the map 30, 13, and 6 with 402 ACS. Absolutely hard carrying his boys. Like, I mean, I don't know what else you can say. This guy is just absolutely absurd. But he's not just a one-man carry. Luke played well as the entry. Nick has been playing really well as their IGL and supporting them with a lot of good utility. TZH's integration throughout the year has looked better and better. Xion, I'm still haven't like fully gotten a grasp of him, but I believe that he's like a pretty solid support player and works in their system. So overall, DRG stocks pretty fun. Anyways, the thing that I was talking about is round 17, and this round will just live rent-free in my mind, just absolutely completely. Here's a clip from my stream where I went over it and I was dying.
真的非常的有章法啊。他知道对方这分暂停之后肯定是会有一些尝试
Here comes the
前
fish.
过来直接给翻线，鲨鱼也给过来，
但已经跑得相当的远了，那只能回头了。
And he's hits so
这
deep.
回头也行，
可以不咬出来，对吧？不咬出来也是可以的。
是。
And then DRG are like, okay, let's go pressure B here. Let's go pressure B here.
缩回来给阵让 CB 去补枪，但这一分我看出会先露出来，我看直接两发头部命中。我再往
Oh my god.
卡数钻进来，还
And then
想
here
再
comes Squirrel.
这里是收掉了残血的卡
TP
数，
through.
但是人数上已经完全倒向 DRG。
有非常多独特的战术安排，但是 Vokasu 靠
In the
枪
smoke.
说话，这边眼里是钻进了一个索，索打人摄像机，2打3的一个局面，无敌超杀再来，
鲨鱼过来找，但是对方索可能跳了进来，看一下索那波枪，打过，4杀到手，索有机会吗？标配，但最终的最后一个击杀是来自光，不过没有任何问题，这一分的残局能拿下来已经是非常。
Anyways, those are all the games that happened today. They were quite exciting, but unfortunately, a lot of these teams are no longer in contention for playoffs and Master Shanghai contention. More playoffs will be beginning tomorrow and onward, so continue to stay tuned for more stuff. Please let me know down below in the comments what you think about Spike Defused and your thoughts on a little bit about this format and your thoughts on the games that happened today. Are you super excited that 100 Thieves are in? Are you sad that Loud are not making their first international event ever? Let me know down below in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, stay hydrated.